welcome back to Beyond the Gate, our Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood podcast. I'm Megan.
And I'm Meg.
And today we are talking about episode 50, Upheaval in Central.
In this episode, Mustang leads a ragtag assault force of hardy northern troops and welcome faces from the past against Central's defenses. Victory seems certain until the military's most horrifying secret is revealed.
Yes, and this covers chapters 89, The Soldier's Return, and 90, Army of Immortals.
Yes, and let's just jump right into it. The last episode we left off, Mustang's group had been cornered and they were like, kill everyone but him, and we hear a bunch of gunshots and you're concerned for a second, but then you see that all of the soldiers that had been surrounding Mustang's crew have been taken out. There were men hiding above, like in the rafters.
It was cool.
Who took
and
them
they
out.
didn't kill.
Yeah.
They didn't kill
Nope.
any of the guys. It was not fatal shots. It was like
Yes.
in their arms and legs, and boy, it looked like it hurt, but they're not dead.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And of course, the Fuhrer's wife is like totally freaking out because she was like, did the military abandon me or did my husband abandon me? And Mustang he's honest with her. He's like, I don't actually know, but we're going to protect you. And when this is all over, you can tell everyone who was the real bad guy. So basically he's both protecting her, but he's also using her.
Yeah. I feel like he's kind of making that clear from the get-go too. Like,
yeah.
He's actually telling her, like, you will be the one to say that we were the good guys all along.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And then we see Mustang's group attacking the military and just taking them down. And then we notice the military headquarters, like, we have 59 injured and 0 casualties. And they kind of realize, like, hey, they're not killing anyone.
Yeah, which is weird because everyone's like, Roy is the hero of Ishval. He should be able to just obliterate us. And even in the manga, they discuss his alchemy, the flame alchemy, and they say he sparks up the dust in the air as a makeshift fuse. So like he could blow them up at any point, but he's like aiming high and low and using small explosions.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say something else. Oh, so the military leaders are very angry. They're like, how come we can't take this guy down? But in the manga, they're more like, oh, he's proving a point. He's making a fool of us. And so they're very mad, and they're sending out more soldiers to take him down. And then we see Olivier. She is being detained by some other military leaders. Honestly, like, I don't know the names of like any of these guys, so I'm just gonna keep calling them military leaders, and that's all they
get.
Be
around for too much longer.
Nah.
Anyway.
And Olivier is being detained so that her soldiers won't attack. And basically they don't trust her. But Olivier's like, well, that's a terrible plan because my soldiers have a survival of the fittest mindset and they don't need me to carry out their orders. And then we see that the Briggs men are indeed there. And also Zumi, which I love because you first see her flip her flip-flops, and then you just see her red eyes in the background.
That is not in the manga, and I really enjoyed seeing that in the anime.
Yes, it was amazing. And then we hear that they snuck in renovation trucks that went to the Armstrong mansion. And they start to attack, and again, Briggs' army, they are not as kind as Mustang's forces. They are definitely killing people, but they are destroying everything. And it is interesting because in the manga, she says that Central is weak because they've always been the ones to attack, but they never have learned how to defend themselves. But obviously we know her her men and up in Briggs, that's all they do is defend themselves from Drachma. And then Mustang, we see him, he's waiting for backup. They've run out of ammo. And it's kind of funny because he's like, if things get bad, he like tells his men to flee, and they're like, all right, of course he will. And he's like, well, that's pretty quick. You're not gonna say,
with you to the end.
Yeah. And I really liked what one of the guys said. He was like, I'm fighting to live.
Yeah, I like that one too.
Yeah.
In the manga, I think he says instead, why would I want to die by a man's side? I've got a wife at home or something like that.
Yeah, he does say something like that. Well, I think
one of the guys says something about a wife.
Yeah, they both.
But definitely in the manga, he said something different, like, why would I want to die by a man's side? Something along those lines.
Yeah. Well, the I'm fighting to live was in the manga too.
Oh, okay.
They both those lines were. But then this out of control ice cream truck arrives, and in the back is Rebecca. We met her, I don't know, a few episodes ago. She's pretty awesome. And she has brought the backup ammo. And then we see who was driving the truck, and it is Maria Ross. She is back, and she has brought weapons.
I missed her so much. Like, seeing her face is just like, you get a smile just coming up, and you can't stop it.
Like, of course, we know she's alive, but like, she's back in action. And then we learn that everything came from Havoc, and his family runs like a general store. I don't know, like
he's still in the action. It's so great.
He's still working for Mustang, and Mustang's so happy when he like hears his voice. I loved it. So the coup so far is going well. And then we go to Ed's crew. They are waiting in the woods. Lanfan is watching Central, and she sees smoke and everything and hears sirens, and it's like, okay, it's time to go. And I really like, well, first Marco, Yoki, and Heinkel are the ones that are going to stay behind. And Ed he says goodbye to Al, and I really like what he said in the manga. He says, we're going to go kick the crap out of that bearded guy who lives underground. I like that line. I wish you would have said it.
Funny.
Yeah. And we see Pry, he's just banging on Al's helmet.
I would have kicked that child.
Right? I would have been
that's so
annoyed. And then we learn that also that Hohenheim, he has a counterattack for the transmutation circle, but he would rather not use it. And then we get a quick scene of May and Envy. They are also in Central, and they are heading to Father. And then Olivier, she's still stuck in that room with the two soldiers, and they're telling her to call her soldiers off, and she's like, nope, Central's weak. I'm in the right, basically. And then she does her like classic move where she like stabs the one guy's arm.
Oh yeah, she did that before with
yeah, she did.
Yeah, the guy they buried in cement. Yeah, it's a little more gruesome in the manga, actually.
Yeah.
In the anime, she just stabs him, but in the manga, she like flays the top layer of skin off of his.
Yeah, what was arm. More than that? Just, like you can like
word.
You can see like
bone.
You can see like a chunk of his arm like get separated.
I mean, like sometimes I get queasy while reading things, but like it's not that bad. But reading through that and seeing that on every page, I was just like, my arm was itching. Just made me feel
Yeah, it was bad. Honestly, like it was, to me, it didn't gross me out that much. I was more just like, it was kind of hard to tell what had happened. Like I had to look kind of closely because you had read it first and you told me that, and I was like, wait, oh, I see.
Yeah.
But anyway, and then she shoots the other soldier, so she is now free. And then we get to see Brush again. He finds Armstrong, and this is when Fu overhears that Olivier is on the move as well. So they know that things are going down and progressing faster than expected. But not for Father, because he's chilling. He's just sitting in his seat. And it's in the manga, it's kind of funny. You see like Sloth sleeping in the background, like just passed out on the floor. So they're both just chilling, but apparently Fu said he can sense him becoming stronger. And then Father hears the banging from Pride. So he was not just hitting Al's helmet, he was sending a message.
Yeah.
So that spells trouble. And then finally, in the last part of this episode, Ed and his crew have arrived in Central, and they head to the third lab to get underground. And I was so happy in this scene because Ed's up to his old tricks again. He runs up to the soldiers guard in the third lab and being like, "Help me! I'm a state alchemist, and Scar's after me." You just see Scar in the background looking
like, "Oh, what did he just say?"
Excuse you.
I love it because in the manga, it's painted as just like a really goofy scene. He's like, "Oh, help me, Scar's after me." But I like in the anime, they changed it to be a little more serious. Like Ed is actually a good actor. He's like, "Scar's after me. I'm gonna die. Please help me." And he only gets goofy after when he like knocks the guards out. I kind of liked that change actually.
Yeah, I did. I liked it both ways. I enjoyed it. And then we see his evil grin and he takes the guards out, and then Hohenheim like, "That was a mean thing to do."
And in the manga, Ed retorts, "We don't have time to be polite."
Yeah. But I think in the anime, Ed just gives his line
like, "Oh,
shut up." Okay, he has said that so many times. Like,
he's just so done with life right now.
Yeah, right? Like, he said it to the Chimeras, he said it to Lanfan, and now he's saying it to his dad. He's just like, "I'm done with this.
I just want to get through today. Alive. Yeah. Just stop. Don't judge me."
Yeah. And then Ed, it's been so long. We finally see a door be made with alchemy. It's been forever.
Very gaudy door too.
Right? It was a lot,
like
but
face
also
on it.
that's Ed. And then when they get into the tunnels, they decide to separate. Scar, Ed, and the Chimeras team up, and then Hohenheim and Lanfan team up. But then once they separate from each other, Hohenheim actually lets Lanfan go. Find Lang.
The prince.
Yes. He's like, "Oh, you care about him, don't you?" She's like, "Mm-hmm." She
okay.
was. She like nodded. She was like
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, Mikasa.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. Mikasa and Lanfan have the same English voice actor, and in some ways they're
pretty similar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Both fighters, both have somebody they're trying to protect that they really care about. Whether platonically or romantically, sometimes it's hard to tell, but like there's a lot of care and compassion, and like underneath the hard, tough exterior is like a very compassionate heart.
Yes. And then in the final scene, one of the generals is freaking out that they're losing, and so he turns on the Philosopher's Stone to activate the Immortal Army, and we hear this creepy, very piercing scream, and then the episode ends.
I was not ready.
No, it's yeah, it's gross.
All right. Well, for the first time in a long time, we've got a voice actor now. Woohoo! So there was a soldier fighting with Mustang, and his name's Charlie. He's the guy with the super cool hair, like with like the lightning strike things in his hair. He's played by David Wald, who is Keishin Yukai from Haikyuu, Tetsu from My Hero Academia, and Hannes from Attack on Titan, among many other roles.
Yes. He has a very like distinct voice. Like every time I hear him, I'm always like, "Oh, Coach Yukai."
Yeah, we've watched so many shows where you're like, "Oh, look, it's Yukai." But,
He's everywhere.
Yeah. So Charlie, his name is from English origin, and it means free man. And I guess the only other thing to mention is for tracking, we have a door.
Yes. We need to at some point go back to share all the things that we've been tracking.
I know.
Yeah. I don't know how good of a job we've been doing. Anyway, that was all that we had for this episode. So, Megan, what was your favorite line?
Mine came from Ed when he was talking about tricking the soldiers. No, this is the perfect time for me to throw my weight around and use my title. Help me, please!
Yes.
And what was your favorite line, Meg?
Mine came from Rebecca when she came to the rescue, and some of the men were like, "Oh, we love you, Rebecca," and she's like, "Hey, zip it! You're not allowed to flirt with me unless you've got money."
Oh,
that's a line I frequently throw around in my own life.
Well, you do. I don't.
You'll take anyone?
No. I think we've discussed my parameters.
Yes. Anyway.
2D. Just kidding.
Oh, good luck with that. What did we learn this episode?
We learned that we're all in this together. Okay, yeah. I know it sounds like a High School Musical quote, but it's true.
Yeah.
10 billion points to whoever can get those two references.
We already gave one away, but second one, a little bit harder. All right, and then who pushed the story forward?
Rebecca, Ross, and Havoc for bringing the ammo. And, also basically everyone from Mustang and Ed's squads, but we're just gonna say those three in particular.
Yes, so happy to really see all of them.
Yeah, there was such joy blossomed in my heart hearing their voices, and then, the face reveal happened.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. All right, that's all we have for this episode.
Yeah, that was quick.
Yeah. And we will be back next week with another episode. And follow us on Instagram at Full Metal Beyond the Gate. Also on YouTube.
I'm all right. Again, but
yeah, that's okay. All right. Bye.
Goodbye.